Injuries are a part of American football. No NFL team goes through a season without encountering physical issues that sideline players from crucial moments. However, for the Baltimore Ravens, 2025 is proving to be a particularly brutal year in this regard. Issues are cropping up in a series of situations, affecting key players and jeopardizing the roster's depth. The latest addition to the already extensive injury list is rookie cornerback Robert Longerbeam. The former Rutgers University standout was placed on injured reserve (IR) during Sunday's practice. He had been sidelined since July 31st after colliding with another rookie in the 2025 class, wide receiver LaJohntay Wester, also a top draft pick this year. For days, the exact cause of the injury remained a mystery. Now, the official designation indicates it's a knee issue, and it's no ordinary injury. It's serious enough to end the player's season before he even makes his official NFL debut. This news comes shortly after another rookie, cornerback Bilal Cohn, was also placed on IR with a knee injury. In his case, a torn ligament suffered during the first preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts. Longerbeam's situation took many by surprise. Until then, information about the sixth-round pick's physical condition had been discreet, with no signs of anything serious. Now, the 24-year-old defender will have to wait until 2026 to truly demonstrate his worth in the purple and black jersey. The strangeness intensified after Coach John Harbaugh's press conference, shortly after Sunday's practice. When asked what happened to Longerbeam, the coach gave a curious and, to say the least, vague answer. "It's a long story," Harbaugh said. "Just a long story. I really couldn't even explain it to you. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't explain it. It is what it is." Typically, a season-ending knee injury indicates some type of ligament tear, an ACL, MCL, or even multiple injuries. That's exactly what happened with Cohn. But Harbaugh's hazy treatment of the matter may indicate something different. It's unclear whether it's something more or less concerning, but in any case, the lack of concrete information leaves the case shrouded in speculation. Regardless of the exact nature of the injury, the impact on the roster is real. Baltimore still has a solid core of players on the defensive side, especially in the secondary. With 4 starting caliber players, the team has quality, but the loss of 2 rookies in a row directly affects its depth and its season plan. Players like Jalen Armour-Davis and TJ Tampa will have more responsibilities and opportunities to establish themselves. Furthermore, the absence of Longerbeam and Cohn affects not only the defensive rotation but also special teams, where rookies often earn valuable minutes and contribute early. Special teams coach Chris Horton will have to find new options to fill gaps and maintain performance. The front office has already begun moving to strengthen the roster. On Saturday, the Ravens announced the signing of MJ Devonshire, a 7th-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, to try to fill some of this gap. More signings are likely in the coming weeks, either from veteran free agents on the market or from young players seeking cap space. During training camp, Robert Longerbeam was attracting attention for his speed and play-reading ability, traits that made him a standout at Rutgers. The expectation was that he could at least gain experience in specific defensive packages and contribute to return coverage. Now, that plan will have to be postponed for at least a year. This scenario reinforces a point already known to those who follow the NFL. More than talent, physical toughness and luck with injuries are determining factors in a season's success. The Ravens have experience dealing with adversity. They've faced a spate of injuries in previous years and still remain competitive. However, losing 2 promising young defenders before the regular season even begins is a blow that limits options and could force strategic changes. Harbaugh, known for not going into details about injuries and preferring to focus on what he can control, didn't sound overly pessimistic, but he also didn't offer any clear signs that Longerbeam would return sooner than expected. Fans can only wait for updates and hope the injury streak doesn't continue. With the start of the season approaching, Baltimore will need to adjust the roster and rely on the versatility of the remaining players. The secondary still has the potential to be one of the team's strengths, but the margins for dealing with further absences have narrowed. The next month will be decisive in determining the final roster structure and how the team will deal with pressure and adversity at the beginning of the 2025 campaign. The Baltimore Ravens defense experienced ups and downs in 2024, and, for many analysts, the final tally was disappointing. Despite moments of brilliance, the group failed to achieve its main objective, consistently creating turnovers. Interceptions and forced fumbles weren't as high as expected, and the secondary, in particular, struggled to contain the opposing passing attack. Things improved in the final games of the season, but not enough to erase the overall impression of failure. Aware of this, General Manager Eric DeCosta decided to act aggressively in the 2025 offseason. Overhauling the secondary was a top priority. With the 27th pick in the draft, Baltimore selected safety Malachi Starks, considered an immediate impact talent. Shortly thereafter, they brought in experienced cornerback Chidobe Awuzie, known for his consistency and tactical workmanship. And, to top off the package, they signed one of the most respected names in the league, Jaire Alexander, a two-time Pro Bowler and key player for the Green Bay Packers in recent seasons. Alexander's signing was quickly considered one of the biggest trades on the market, not only for the fee, but for its immediate impact on the field and in the locker room. At 28, he arrives with the potential to be one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL and, more than that, the attitude and confidence that can transform the spirit of an entire defensive unit. Since his arrival, Alexander hasn't needed much time to prove himself. In training camp, he's already made impactful plays, with interceptions and key saves against Lamar Jackson's offense. But, according to players and coaches, the difference goes beyond statistics. He brought an extra dose of swagger, that infectious confidence that manifests itself in every snap, every friendly taunt, and every celebration. Baltimore already relied on Marlon Humphrey as an emotional and technical leader in the secondary, someone who lives every play with maximum intensity. Alexander's presence seems to enhance that energy. Coaches comment that the competitiveness in practice has visibly increased. The offense, which led the league in passing yards last year, has struggled against the new defensive formation, and for the Ravens, that's a great sign. Defensive coordinator Zach Orr, who took over in 2024, has faced a turbulent start to his tenure. Even though he managed to adjust the team in the second half of the season, the opposing passing system remained a weak point. The defense finished 31st in passing yards allowed. Now, with Alexander, Starks, Awuzie, and the growth of young talent, that statistic is expected to change dramatically. The praise for the new number 23 has been pouring in. After the practice against the Indianapolis Colts, defensive tackle Nnamdi Matabike was emphatic in describing Alexander's impact. He brings enthusiasm, energy, everything we need in a Ravens defense. He's a great player, a great person, and he just infects the group with energy. On the offensive side, Lamar Jackson also spoke about the difference he feels when facing this new defense in his daily practice sessions. For the two-time MVP quarterback, the internal competitiveness is spot on. These guys are beasts, and I see that every day. Jackson humorously noted that Alexander has already started celebrating plays against him, something the quarterback says is part of the healthy competitive culture he's always strived to maintain since his college days. He celebrated against me. I did that a lot in college practice, so I'm used to it. But he's my brother. I love having him on our team, and I expect a lot from him this season. For the coaching staff, Alexander's adaptation has been exemplary. He quickly assimilated the playbook, gelled with his teammates, and demonstrated quiet but firm leadership. In practice, he's often seen calling on younger players for quick chats between reps, suggesting adjustments in positioning and route reading. This kind of guidance, coming from a player with experience in decisive playoff games, is invaluable for the group's development. The Ravens' defensive culture has always been characterized by intensity and physical imposition, a legacy from the days of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. In recent years, this identity has been lost at times, mainly due to inconsistency in the secondary. Now, the hope is that Alexander will be a key player in rebuilding this mentality. The 2025 schedule holds tough tests in the early weeks, with matchups against elite offenses. For Baltimore, having a deeper and more qualified secondary could be the difference between starting the season confidently or returning to the same struggles of the recent past. If the preseason is any indication, the Ravens are on the right track. The combination of experience, talent, and energy Alexander brought seems to have breathed new life into the defense. And, as they say in the halls of Owings Mills, when the Ravens' defense is confident, the whole team strengthens. On and off the field, Jaire Alexander is already playing like a Raven. And if he maintains the pace and intensity he's shown so far, he could be the key to returning Baltimore to the dominant defense that made NFL history.